The story of Coca-Cola begins on May 8, 1886, in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. The creator of the formula was John Stith Pemberton, a pharmacist and former Confederate Army officer who, after being wounded in the American Civil War, developed a morphine addiction and sought safer alternatives for pain relief. Inspired by popular tonics of the time, Pemberton created a thick syrup made from coca leaves, from which cocaine is derived, then still legal and used medicinally, and cola nuts, which are rich in caffeine. The drink was first sold at Jacob's Pharmacy, mixed with carbonated water and marketed as a tonic for headaches, fatigue, and even impotence. It cost 5 cents per glass. The name Coca-Cola and the logo were created by Frank M. Robinson, Pemberton's accountant and partner. He believed that 2 C's would look good in advertising. The cursive logo he designed is virtually the same to this day. Pemberton began selling the rights to the formula to different investors in 1887, as he was already seriously ill. Among the buyers was Asa Griggs Candler, an ambitious businessman who saw immense potential in Coca-Cola. In 1888, Pemberton died, and Candler acquired most of the remaining rights to the formula and the brand, consolidating control. Between 1888 and 1892, Candler heavily invested in advertising, including promotional coupons, calendars, trays, clocks, and posters. Innovative techniques at the time. He also expanded syrup distribution to other pharmacies and soda fountains in various U.S. cities. In 1892, Candler officially founded the Coca-Cola Company, along with his brother John Candler, Frank Robinson, and other investors. The company was incorporated in the state of Georgia in 1894. That same year, Coca-Cola began to be sold in bottles, a decisive step for expansion beyond soda fountains. The first bottling plant was established in Vicksburg, Mississippi by Joseph Biedenharn. Throughout the 1890s, Coca-Cola grew explosively. In 1899, Candler granted bottling rights to 2 Tennessee lawyers, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, for just $1, in a deal that would enable the expansion of Coca-Cola's franchise bottling system across the country, a model that would become essential for the brand's global growth. By the end of the 19th century, Coca-Cola was already one of the most popular beverages in the United States. The foundation of the empire had been laid. A strong brand, growing distribution, and an aggressive, innovative marketing system. At the start of the 20th century, Coca-Cola was already a well-known brand in the United States, but still in the process of consolidation. One of the biggest challenges at the time was public debate over the dangers of cocaine, still present in small amounts in the original formula. Under pressure from legislation and public opinion, the company gradually reduced the cocaine content, and around 1904, began using only decocainized coca leaves, maintaining its name and signature flavor. Meanwhile, Asa Candler, owner of the company since 1891, intensified aggressive marketing. He spread ads in newspapers, street signs, clocks, and posters. Slogans like "Drink Coca-Cola" and "Delicious and Refreshing" helped position the drink as a symbol of pleasure, refreshment, and sophistication. In 1915, with growing competition and counterfeit products, the company launched a contest to create a unique bottle. The winner was the Contour bottle, developed by the Root Glass Company. Inspired curiously by the shape of a cocoa pod, the design would become one of the most recognizable icons in the world. By 1917, Coca-Cola was selling over 3 million drinks per day. In 1919, Asa Candler sold the company for $25 million to a group of investors led by Ernest Woodruff, father of Robert Woodruff. The new group officially registered the Coca-Cola Company, structuring it as a major corporation with international ambitions. A year later, in 1920, the company went public on the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, under the ticker KO, which it still uses today. During the 1920s, Coca-Cola further expanded across the U.S., establishing a network of licensed bottlers. This regional franchise model was essential for national-scale growth with local production, reducing costs and increasing efficiency. In 1923, Robert W. Woodruff, just 33 years old, became the company's president. His vision was essential in transforming Coca-Cola into a global brand. He invested in research, quality, standardization, and marketing. Under his leadership came the slogan, "The Pause That Refreshes," a milestone in modern advertising. By 1925, Coca-Cola was already considered one of the most valuable brands in the United States, with continuous growth, national distribution, and the first steps toward international expansion. After consolidating its leadership in the U.S., the Coca-Cola Company began to look abroad. In 1926, it created the Foreign Department, its first sector dedicated solely to international expansion. The brand was already present in some countries, but now there was a real plan to become a truly global company. In the 1930s, despite the effects of the Great Depression, Coca-Cola kept growing. In 1931, the company launched one of its most iconic campaigns, the image of the jolly red-suited Santa Claus, created by illustrator Haddon Sundblom. This version shaped the modern global image of Santa Claus and forever linked Coca-Cola to the Christmas spirit. At the same time, the brand established itself in countries such as Germany, China, South Africa, Australia, and Latin America. Its international campaigns carried a consistent message: refreshment, happiness, optimism, with cultural adaptation in each region. In the 1940s came the greatest challenge, an opportunity: World War II. In 1941, the U.S. entered the conflict, and Coca-Cola's president, Robert W. Woodruff, declared that every American soldier should have access to a Coke for 5 cents, wherever they were. To fulfill that promise, the company built mobile bottling plants in the war theaters of Europe, the Pacific, and North Africa. This not only supported troop morale, but also created a platform for global expansion, as these countries became familiar with Coca-Cola and wanted more of it after the war. By the end of the conflict, the company operated in over 40 countries. The brand became synonymous with freedom, the American way of life, and prosperity. In 1945, the name Coke was officially trademarked. Throughout this phase, Coca-Cola remained focused on innovation, marketing, and mass distribution, always protecting its secret formula and iconic image. The franchise bottling model was exported, enabling rapid adaptation to different markets. In 1950, Coca-Cola became the first consumer brand to appear on the cover of Time magazine, an unprecedented feat and proof of its cultural and commercial impact in the post-war world. After the war, Coca-Cola held a privileged position, recognized in dozens of countries and representing the optimism of Reconstruction. From 1951 to 1976, the company went through a phase of growth, product diversification, and faced the rise of a strong competitor, Pepsi. In the 1950s, Coca-Cola expanded production to strategic countries like India, Egypt, Turkey, and initiated negotiations with the Soviet Union, reinforcing its image as a symbol of the American way of life. But the Cold War brought cultural and political challenges, as Coca-Cola became a target of criticism in countries wary of U.S. influence. Advertising emphasized tradition, happiness, youth, and family. Slogans like "Sign of Good Taste" and "Things Go Better with Coke" were everywhere. On billboards, jingles, and TV ads, Coca-Cola began sponsoring sports, films, and TV programs, deepening cultural penetration. In the 1960s, as youth culture emerged and social values shifted, Coca-Cola adapted with more modern and emotional campaigns. The most iconic came in 1971, "I'd Like to Buy the World a Coke," featuring a multicultural group singing in harmony, a global advertising milestone. Coca-Cola's product diversification also advanced. In 1960, it acquired Minute Maid juices. In 1961, it launched Sprite, lemon lime soda. In 1963, it introduced Tab, its first diet soda, aimed at women. Meanwhile, Pepsi gained ground with aggressive marketing using youth icons and provocative slogans. The Cola Wars took shape, and although still the leader, Coca-Cola felt the pressure to win younger consumers. By 1970, Coca-Cola was active in over 120 countries, operating a highly decentralized and efficient bottling system. In 1974, Coca-Cola became the first company to use vending machines with magnetic card payment in Japan, showing its technological edge. In 1976, Coca-Cola celebrated 90 years with rising revenue and a globally consolidated image. Yet it understood that new competitors, shifting consumer tastes, and deep social changes were on the horizon. From 1976 onward, Coca-Cola continued its global expansion and faced increasing competition, especially from Pepsi. In the late 1970s, the company launched the campaign "Have a Coke and a Smile" in 1979, aiming to reinforce its positive, family-friendly, and traditional image. However, Pepsi countered aggressively with the famous Pepsi Challenge, a blind taste test suggesting consumers preferred Pepsi's flavor. This campaign hit hard and created a significant stir. In 1985, Coca-Cola made one of the most controversial decisions in its history, the launch of New Coke. The original formula was changed to appeal to modern tastes, but the reaction was disastrous. Millions of consumers protested, sending letters, making calls, and even lawmakers requested the return of the classic formula. Just 3 months later, Coca-Cola reversed the decision and reintroduced the original recipe as Coca-Cola Classic, turning a major mistake into an emotional and marketing victory. The public celebrated, and the brand grew even stronger. It was a lesson about identity, tradition, and consumer emotional attachment. During the 1990s, the company accelerated global expansion, especially opening markets in Russia, China, and Eastern Europe, which had been closed under communist regimes. Coca-Cola became a symbol of capitalism and economic freedom in those countries. Diversification intensified. The company acquired and managed brands like Powerade, sports drinks, Nestea, in partnership with Nestle, Kinley, carbonated water, Georgia Coffee in Japan, and expanded its Minute Maid juice line. The company also increased investment in global advertising, with campaigns uniting themes like peace, youth, and cultural integration, always using its current slogans. One example was Always Coca-Cola, launched in 1993, accompanied by memorable animations featuring the polar bears, which became a brand symbol. By the end of the 20th century, Coca-Cola was present in almost every country worldwide, managing over 160 brands and a gigantic bottling network. It was much more than a soda. It was a global icon of consumption, culture, and capitalism. At the start of the 2000s, Coca-Cola faced a new global scenario: more health-conscious consumers, concerns about sustainability, and rising competition not only from Pepsi, but also from natural beverages, energy drinks, and alternatives. To confront this, the company began a strategy of diversification and modernization. It heavily invested in mineral water, ready-to-drink teas, natural juices, functional drinks, and ready-to-drink coffees. In 2007, it acquired Glaso, owner of Vitamin Water, for more than $4 billion, a clear sign of changing focus. In the following years, Coca-Cola expanded its global portfolio with brands such as Adis, plant-based beverages in Latin America, Costa Coffee, coffee chain bought in 2018 for $5.1 billion, Topo Chico, premium sparkling mineral water, Fairlife, ultra-filtered milk, along with increased offerings of sugar-free options like Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. At the same time, the company faced criticism and regulatory pressure over public health issues, mainly related to obesity and sugar consumption. In response, it reformulated products, reduced calories, increased packaging transparency, and promoted moderation and balanced eating. Sustainability became a priority. Coca-Cola launched ambitious goals such as World Without Waste, promising to collect and recycle 100% of its packaging by 2030, increasing the use of recycled plastic, rPET, reducing water and carbon footprints in factories. During the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020, Coca-Cola faced sales drops, especially outside the home, bars, restaurants, events, but reacted quickly by focusing on home consumption and digital channels such as delivery apps and social media marketing. It used this moment to streamline its portfolio, discontinuing over 200 less profitable brands. In 2021, the company reorganized its global structure to become more agile, shifting from geographic divisions to product categories, soft drinks, teas, energy drinks, etc. It also strengthened its presence in the energy drink sector by acquiring control of Monster Beverage Corporation. Starting in 2022, Coca-Cola adopted campaigns focusing more on emotional connection, cultural diversity, and digital experiences, such as interactive packaging, augmented reality activations, and limited edition NFTs. By 2025, Coca-Cola remains one of the most valuable brands on the planet, present in more than 200 countries, with a portfolio far beyond sodas. The company positions itself as a global beverage platform, ready to meet the tastes of modern consumers, increasingly attentive to health, sustainability, and authenticity. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.